Hi, I'm Clark.
And I'm Emily.
On sailing vessel Temptress.
We've been living aboard the boat in the Dominican Republic, and here's what the last 30 days have looked like for us.
Hi, I'm Emily.
And I'm Clark.
We opted out of a typical American life to live more independently, frugally, and off the grid.
We currently travel the world aboard our antique sailboat named Temptress.
Each month, we sit down to tell you where we are, what we're doing, share the best and worst moments, answer questions, and tell you exactly how much it costs us to live this life.
These are our adventure logs. Well, Luperon is changing a lot. This summer was particularly hot. The locals were all complaining it's just really, really hot. Well, that's broken. It's cooler now. It's much more pleasant, and we're getting off our butts and doing projects. We're also getting off our butts to do projects because we were sick. That's why you didn't have a couple videos.
Yeah, I got COVID, a week and a half ago. I went on a shopping trip to Santiago and exposed myself to probably a lot of germs and a van full of other people for a very long period of time, and a couple days later I came down with COVID. I think that's probably how I got it, was being in the big city, but who knows. Anyway, that took me down and took him down for a while, but we got medicine this time and got right on it. This is the third time we've had COVID. Yes, we've been vaccinated. Yes, we've been boosted. The first time, no medicine. It was really terrible. The second time we had medicine, but we didn't get it for a few days, but we noticed the effect when we got on the medicine. This time we took it right from the start, and it was just kind of like having the flu mostly, so it wasn't too bad at all.
Yeah, I actually took it prophylactically at a lower dose so that I didn't catch it, and I didn't. There was a battle happening inside me, but no major symptoms, which is great because coughs and me don't get along very well. It was ivermectin, so if you want to try it, it's off label, but it was ivermectin, zinc, vitamin D, vitamin C. You'll find the protocol out there.
Mm-hmm. It's been a very uneventful hurricane season. Normally hurricane season ends November 1st. It's been pretty uneventful, no real hurricanes.
We have had something strange in that realm. We've had some interesting earthquakes here. I think they probably were about the same time as the Icelandis one, or close to. I doubt it's related. But they seem to be more this way instead of this way, and Emily actually felt it on the boat. Usually on a boat, you don't feel an earthquake.
Yeah, it was very strange to feel it, because they've been here before, and we've just gotten, in the WhatsApp group or whatever, we'll get a notification, oh, that was a big one, or, the people ashore. But this time it actually, the boat sort of went up and down, which, you're used to the waves turning the boat, but when the boat does this, it's very strange. So yeah, that was a pretty new experience. Other updates, we are about this close to having somebody who's going to manage the DC-powered air conditioning business for us. So if you've been with us for a while, you know that we had these DC-powered air conditioners that Clark has sort of come up with that we're selling for a while, and we took a break. Well, we're hoping to bring them back for next season, so look for something like that. And you're kind of looking for something similar with the BankManager.
Right. In our last adventure log, I put out kind of a, hey, anybody want to run this business? And I got several people with interest. I had them write up business models, and we chose somebody. We're just the lawyers checking over the contract right now. In that vein, I have a guy to do BankManager in Europe, and we're this close to getting CE testing. So once we get that, we're going to be able to sell from Europe. In the perfect world, I'd like to find someone in the UK and somebody in, say, Australia that has enough business acumen to understand this, is ready to go to boat shows and do a little marketing. Most importantly, do some very light assembly would be probably the word. And if you send us a note at Emily and Clark's Adventure at Gmail, we will send you a little video that describes what's required for the assembly, and then they can be locally assembled, which is going to help taxes a whole lot. So we got this AC guy, that's going along. I'd like to do the same with BankManager because it's just really difficult to export these.
Also, general updates. Last time I talked a little bit about us. We've been here so long, but our Spanish isn't great, and we were looking for advice about how to get more into Spanish. Well, I've been doing a lot more with learning Spanish, basically listening exclusively to Spanish music. I started a bilingual singing group here in Luperon in the Central Park, where we get together and we learn Spanish songs, but we also learn English songs translated into Spanish. So doing the translation work of that has been really interesting because it's not just learning the songs, but sometimes actually translating them. So that's been fun. And reading in Spanish too.
I don't know if you know, but Emily is quite the musician, and music would be the key for her. We didn't think about it, but sure. And that book you're reading, she's got a book in English and a book in Spanish, and she reads the Spanish and then finds her place in the English when she doesn't know a concept. So it's working.
Yeah, I think my Spanish has improved quite a bit. I'm definitely feeling more confident about speaking in Spanish. I still don't know everything. I'm still struggling, sentence to sentence sometimes, but it's a lot better.
And she does it out loud, of course, because she's working on the language and the pronunciation. So every night I get to hear a Spanish story about a little mouse.
Learning Spanish, I have a whole new respect for people who live in the United States and don't speak English as their first language. It really is, like the story I'm reading is for kids, and the chapters are like 3 pages, and by the time I get to the end of a chapter, I'm just like my brain is so exhausted, and it really is a lot of work. So it's been eye-opening in that sense. Like, I'm proud of myself, but it's also like I have so long to go still. So.
Well, boat projects. It's been hot. We've been sick, but generally I've been lazy, so not a lot of them got done. Had to tear down the fridge. There was a very slow refrigerant leak. Thought I had it. I think I might have it, but maybe not. You can't tell on those things when they're slow. So I did that. I'm putting a support bearing in the shaft, in the propeller shaft of the boat. There's always been this vibration, and since we went to the much bigger engine, it's gotten worse. So I'm going to support the shaft with a device I've built that I'll put into the bilge. No, there won't be a video on the installation of it. It won't apply to most boats, and hanging upside down in the bilge, no, I'm not filming that. Everything gets 10 times harder with the camera.
But once that's done, we'll get to know if the engine works or not.
Yeah, well, we'll get to fire the engine up. Lots of stuff that I've been putting off behind other stuff. You know how it goes. There's always a line.
But it's nice for the fridge to work. And the fans to work and all the things to, be functional.
Yep,
and we've done some little things like putting up the curtains and...
Yep, we've got now curtains again down below. This was the end of that project where we revarnished the interior. I'm working on the BankManager 3.0. Still lots and lots to do, but I got the board, I think, more or less working. I'm going to have to move things around so it fits in the new case, and I have to design the new case. I got a guy out there doing the app for me, so that takes a big load off.
A mobile app, right?
Yeah, a mobile app, because this thing will put out Bluetooth. In fact, it puts out Bluetooth now. I'm just sending it to a terminal so I can test it. It's kind of all coming together. It's going to have some interesting new features, but it'll be spring before it's really product, because it hasn't had any boat testing or anything yet. It's that early. Anything else that we did this period?
Project-wise, we just kind of do them. Sometimes we forget to grab the camera and do anything with them. But the big thing coming up is going to be varnish. Varnish in the aft cabin now that we don't need the air conditioner to sleep. We never needed the air conditioner to sleep, but,
I wanted it desperately.
But we wanted it. And now that it's cooling off and we're sleeping without the air conditioner, we can move back into the forward cabin and maybe do a bunch of sanding in the aft cabin, which will be nice.
Yeah, it's a much smaller space than the saloon, so it won't take as long. And Emily's going to do the exterior varnish again, so temperatures will be beautiful. I guess that means I got to get back onto putting deck boards down because, well, you all know what our deck boards are.
Now that it's not so hot.
Yeah.
It's funny because I'm sure there's a lot of people watching up in the north that are putting their boats away for the season or have put their boats away for the season, and they rush to do all their work in the summer, and we're kind of on the opposite schedule. Is now that it's we can finally go outside and it's not debilitatingly hot. It's nice to work now.
We both grew up in the north, so in the winter, you get that vacation kind of sit by the fire because it's just too cold to do anything. Here it's the other way around.
Yeah, you sit by the pool and drink pina coladas while you do it. Just different. So we've been here for a while, and people ask us when are we leaving, what are our plans, and we've started to not say our plans so with such conviction because we know we like it here. This is like the safest, easiest, cheapest place, really, and we're thinking that temperatures might stay here a little bit longer. Maybe we'll go and take another camping trip in the States or something like that, but we're starting to settle in a little bit. I think we came here thinking we were visitors, and we've made so many friends and gotten more involved with the community. I'm helping out with the plastic collection and recycling sort of organization. I've
You have
started
your
this
chorus.
choir. We're starting to put down a little bit more roots, I guess you could say. We took a little vacation in the mountains for a couple days, which was nice. It's just feeling more like this is home.
Yeah, I'm getting involved with a boat project. It's a very fast trimaran that's going to have electric drives that regenerate. And I'm doing some design work with them so that we can see if we can get this going. When your boat can sail at 15 knots pretty regularly, regenerative power is a really good idea. So that's kind of an interesting project, and I want to stay around for a month or so to get that going well. We might do a video on that.
So what else is slated for projects coming up?
We're switching to a modern solid-state radar. And since I was thinking electronics, I got another little display, you know, for the display cluster, trying some new stuff from some new companies. And I got something really interesting. It's called an ultrasonic wind indicator. And it actually fires sound waves from a transmitter to a microphone in different axes. And since sound travels at the speed of sound, but it's through the air. If the air is moving, it changes the speed of sound. In short, this thing can tell how fast the wind is blowing and from what vector with no moving parts. But, I found it years ago. I kind of fell in love with the concept, but I didn't have an immediate need. It was being sold for meteorological stations, you know, ground weather stations. And I said, I think I can make that work on the boat. And I looked back into it, and the company now makes it with NMEA 2000 interface, so it's going to be easy.
AIS.
Oh, yeah. For years, I've had something, and I highly recommend it if it's what you need budget-wise and stuff. It's called a DAISY, D-A-I-S-Y. And it's kind of a project kind of done at the level BankManager's done, you know, a guy developing it or a group. I think it's open source, so it'd be a group. And it's an AIS receiver that costs like $50, and I think it's like $75 for the one that does NMEA. That's what we have. And it's worked really well, but it only receives. And I've decided I'd really like to transmit as well, become part of the whole AIS party. So I purchased a new higher end AIS transceiver, and we'll be installing that, and I'll do a little talk on AIS. We've been, you know, doing the community stuff that Emily's been talking about. My community stuff's a little different. I help people out with boats. We now, in this little bay, have, I believe, 9 boats running BankManager, or systems. Some of them are houses. So that's kind of neat. The more people that have one and like it start talking to people, and then more people are coming to me saying, hey, can I have one of those things? In fact, I got to get some more here on the boat to be able to pass them around. Emily's also been working on games. She has a couple in the works right now. One that I think is got some real potential. It's very interesting. She takes it to places, and you know, other cruisers play it, and they're ending their little test play where they're saying, "Can we play again?"
Yeah. It's been fun because normally when somebody's testing your game, they're doing you a favor, and you know, at the end of it is the end of it, but people are wanting to reset it and play it again, which is always a good sign. So I've sent that to a larger publisher. I've got a list of about 5 other publishers, and I'm going to enter it in a couple of the upcoming contests and see what happens with it, and maybe even look into creating it ourselves. Now that we know about injection molding and all this other stuff for BankManager.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, it all goes back and forth.
So both of us have creative things going on, games, BankManager, varnishing, all these things that we'll try to make into creative, interesting endeavors.
Yeah.
So that we get them done.
Yeah, we're not sailing around, but we're living the cruising life, and we have full and creative lives. So,
Yeah.
you know, this is what you're after.
We still suck at being retired, but
Yeah.
we're doing things that we want to do, not things because we have to do.
And because we want to do them, yeah.
Exactly. Intentional living. We have gotten out of the habit of talking about that, but that's kind of our whole reason for being out here, is we wanted to live on our own terms, spend money on what we wanted to spend our money on, make our electricity and such, you know, on our own, do our own stuff, and not just sort of sleepwalk through life. So part of that recently, sort of like waking up and like, okay, what are we doing? Are we doing this intentionally? Learning more Spanish is definitely part of that, something that's an effort for us to do, but that we want to do.
Yeah, you have to divide and conquer in a relationship, and I've been proven to really be an idiot when it comes to languages, just not how my brain is organized. So we're going to be living down where they speak a lot of Spanish, whether it be here or other places, and Emily has taken on becoming master of translation.
And neither of us has to know everything. That's part of the partnership, and that's part of what makes it all work.
We're almost
So-
always together, so
Yeah. And so other intentional living things, the ketosis diet, we're both, we were just eating a lot of cheap, fast food and not feeling well, to be quite honest. We were both having some GI problems and things, so we figured it was time to reset and recalibrate.
also I
what it is
gained a
we're
bunch of weight.
consuming.
You're going to see less of me around here.
We call it our anchor weight and our cruising weight, and we are definitely both at our anchor weight right now in our anchor state of fitness. So it would be nice to be able to grind a winch and not, hyperventilate after that.
The morning's kind of over. The wind's coming up. I'm getting glare in my eyes. I think that's it for this adventure log.
Yep. Thanks everybody for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thanks for your incoming questions via email, via the comments, via Patreon. Thank you to all our Patreon folks for continuing to subscribe to us every month and send us your questions and interact with us on Patreon. That's always a fun time. Clark spends a lot of time on his phone just talking to people all around the world who need help with their boats. So we're grateful for all your support.
Speaking of Patreon and support and community interaction, what do you guys think about live streams? We haven't done one in a long time. Is that something you'd like? We get together, you guys can text us, we'll chat for an hour or so and see what happens. We never know where these things go. Anyway, if you like that, put a comment down below saying, yeah, live stream.
And we look forward to talking to you hopefully next month, and stay in touch. Bye.
Bye.
When we met, we knew that we did things differently, but with no regrets, both living life authentically. So we packed up this antique boat to make a life upon the sea. For the worse and for the better, to live a life full of adventure. Emily and Clark's Adventure.